found out my dad had a secret previous life and I have 2 half siblings. So I was doing ancestry research and my father never talks about his life or family, so I never can really search about him. His dad left him and his brothers and sisters when they were very young and they had rough childhoods, living in group homes and being homeless at times. Well, the other day I was trying really hard to find a birth certificate or something to find who his father was. I stumbled upon a divorce certificate between my dad and another woman a few years before he would have gotten with my mom. The facts all lined up. It was in the same area that he was living in at the time. I searched the woman online and found out she had 2 kids during the time frame when they would have been married. I found them on Facebook in the son, we'll call him Jack, looked exactly like my brother. I was freaking out thinking maybe I was just acting like a tinfoil hat person and making this up to myself. So I messaged the guy coyly asking about if he knew his parents. He knew who his mom was, but his dad he only met once 10 years ago. Then I straight up asked if he thought there was a chance my dad was his and maybe we were siblings. He replied saying he knew we were half siblings and that my dad keeps in contact with his mom every once in a while. He said he's been looking at pictures of me and my brother grow up on Facebook throughout the years. They never reached out to us to not stir up trouble. The other of the 2 children, they're in their 30s now, we'll call her Katie, she messaged me on Facebook and said if I ever wanted to talk, she's there. I asked her what she knew about the situation. She said my dad and her mom got married young, had Katie and Jack, and then there was a point where my dad left them. According to her, my dad took Jack with him at first, but not Katie because my dad's mom told him to only take the boy. Around this time Jack was probably 3 or 4 and Katie was a baby. Kat's mom didn't know where they went and didn't hear from them. She even hired a private detective at one point. Eventually my dad went back to them and gave Jack back to her and left on his own. Apparently this is around when they divorced. Their mom then married her high school sweetheart, and he adopted the kids and raised them. Around 20 years later 10 years ago, my dad reached out to them and met up to meet them. Then he never spoke to them again. Jack took it really hard and might not be open to getting to know my brother and I because of this. So now here I am, with 2 new half siblings that have been a secret my whole life. I want to ask my dad about it, maybe get his side of the story and just not have this be a secret. I really think my mom has no idea of any of this. I would really hate for her to find out and be crushed by it. I feel betrayed by such a huge secret and a little guilty that we were the kids he stuck around for. It's heartbreaking to know he had children he seemed to not love. It makes me question what kind of person he really is. He was an amazing father to my brother, and now it feels like that was him trying extra hard out of guilt. I feel like my dad would be super upset if we told him we know. I just have no idea what his reaction would be, but it would probably be out of anger because he's an intense person sometimes. Anyone have any similar secret sibling stories? How do I even proceed from here? I feel lost and feel so bad that my father would be the kind of guy to abandon a family like that when his dad did the same to him. And I'd love to get to know them, but I understand it's a really sore part of their lives, and it's not my right to overstep. Although Katie said she wanted to get to know us, but she said she has no desire to talk to our dad ever again. Sorry if anything is confusing, but my head is just spinning and I haven't been able to think straight all morning. And I have nobody to vent to about this except for my brother, who is really acting oddly okay with all of it. TLDR. My dad was married with 2 kids right before he met my mom and kept it a secret from us. I found out and talked to my secret half siblings and he doesn't know yet. I was ghosted by my cousins because of their creepy ass father. I started receiving long messages with images from their stepfather after I moved to another city. The first text said he's so sad he doesn't own a single picture of me and would be extremely happy to see me in a bikini. This part got me very uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep well that night. A week later another long text said similar things, but I picked up the essential part saying he missed hearing my voice and wanted to make a call. I remember getting scared seeing him typing something again. Took him like an hour to send it to me. I did not reply to any of those texts that had sexual content in it. Then I couldn't take it in and wanted help. before asking help. I was stressing where this would lead to if the texts were to be exposed. The fact here was that my cousins think of their stepfather as their father figure, so I could be labeled as the person who destroyed their family. This part got me thinking hard, but I was in need of help. So I turned to my dad and he left him a message saying he knows everything about the texts. My dad was so pissed off at the text. The reply was that it was all imagination and he wanted me to feel good. I did not feel any good reading those words and was not my imagination. A week later my mom had probably let her sister know about this, so I decided to check the group chats. Only to realize that one of my cousins blocked me and that's why she left the group chat. My cousins are twins and the other one was hurt. She wasn't interested in this issue and asked why I had to do it. My sister says they treat me unfairly, and all they replied to her was that my sister should not try to understand the situation, and the relationship between them and my sister stays the same. Excluding me. I still don't know what did I do wrong and have been bitter since then. All I know is they hate me and blame me for everything. I felt hurt that they didn't care about my feelings, and left this unexplained as I tried to understand the situation, so I blocked them because I thought it would make me feel good, but it doesn't. I don't care if them ghosting me takes years or the eternity. I don't think I will let them back in my life. My mom has been yelling at me on the daily for about 5-6 years now. I can't take it anymore. Hello, I have come here today because I'm having some issues that I'm hoping to get a bit of help with. So I'm just going to start straight away here. As the title suggests, my mom has been yelling at me almost every single day for 5-6 years. And yes, it's basically exactly how it sounds. I rarely get any time where she is not yelling at me for something. The only time she's ever been nice to me is when she either wants something done or is in public. And if I don't do what she wants, I will be yelled at and be told you can't do the simplest task, so I usually just give in so I can save myself from her tantrums when we do get into arguments, which is usually very often. She uses everything I said or did in the past against me, which I'm quite used to at this point, but when she starts going on about what she knows troubles me the most. I just can't bear to stay quiet, so I usually say either shut up or if I'm really mad, F you. Which I feel disgusting for talking to my mother that way, but I was just furious at the time. I don't know if this is considered verbal abuse or not. I apologize if I'm wrong. But she has called me useless multiple times, and when I speak up about it she says it's true, and to be honest I kind of believe it, not going to lie. I just feel so trapped at this point. I feel like there's not a thing I can do to help myself escape this mess. I can't even escape off to school from all of this because I have been homeschooled my whole life and have never truly kept a real life friendship. So 6 months ago I turned to social media to give it a go, and I found this guy named Jay who is now a close friend of mine. Then I met another friend named Elle who is another close friend of mine. It was amazing. We even video called a few times. It felt great to actually talk to someone, but with rise comes downfall. And the downfall for me was that my mom found out and started using that against me, saying your friends, you don't know them, which out of everything she said to me I find those hurt the worst. The bit that scares me the most is the fact that if my dad ever finds out about my online friends he would probably take my phone and laptop away and I would be left with nothing. I don't care about having a phone to be cool, no. My phone is quite literally my lifeline. Without it I am almost certain I would be borderline suicidal or at least severely depressed by now, considering all the issues I have with my mom about homeschooling and me being extremely conscious towards my body. I know this is so much to read, I apologize, but if anyone has advice as to what I can do, it would be highly appreciated if you could take it down to the comments. My mother wants to move in with us and won't take no for an answer. For some backstory, I'm recently married and we just bought a decent sized house together. I've been diagnosed bipolar disorder type 2 last year and seek treatment regularly. We have 3 dogs and 2 kids, my stepsons. My mom is undiagnosed bipolar disorder, possibly type 1. She and I do not get along at all, only over the phone and in short conversations. She's always been dependent on my dad for money before, and after they divorced after 25 years. He bought her a house and he inherited his mother's cabin after her death, so they lived apart for 2 years after remarrying 4 years ago because she can't him. Her exact words. She has not owned a job since her 20s. She's 57 now, and blames it on her allergies, back issues, knee issues, thyroid, migraines, etc. After the divorce, she blames my dad for her mental health issues, claiming he abused her because of his PTSD. Not sure if it's true, but she says that he used to abuse me as well when I was 9. He never has and loves me to bits, but she has convinced herself of the abuse. She says some real screwed up things to us, ex. She told him several times she wishes he were dead and that I don't actually have bipolar disorder because that means I'm not lovable. When my husband or I check her on her behavior, she will play the victim, throw a tantrum and cry, just will not take responsibility for her actions. There's more, but I'll stop here. Don't get me wrong. We love her with all our hearts and choose to continue having her in our lives despite her very serious issues. Our dilemma is she is 100% convinced we are going to leave a room or build a small house for her to move in after she divorces my dad again, despite their remarriage being her idea. My dad recently gave away his cabin and moved into their 2-story house he bought for her. They have 6 dogs, and my 25-year-old brother still lives with them. I've explained several times in different ways why it's a bad idea, and that she is not welcome except to visit for a few days. Too many dogs, we don't get along. Hubby and I need to enjoy our time together as newlyweds. That she needs to be independent from everyone else. That we can only support us and our family, etc. No matter what we say, she is still convinced and tells us that we are going to ask her to come to help us when we have our first baby anyways, so we might as well have her move in. How the hell can we convince her? No dart. Sorry for the long post.